What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hobby Hotline Live, the hobby's only live call-in show. And my name, as always, is Drew. And joining me today, we've got Logan. What's going on, Logan?
Wasn't a whole lot till yesterday. Yesterday was kind of a tough day.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in just a minute. And then, of course, we also have the man himself, Deafness. What's up, bud?
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Where you?
Good.
So you're on location. I can see. Where you at?
Yeah. So
That's nice.
I decided to surprise. It was my sister's got 7 years on me, so it was her 50th birthday yesterday. So she had come up earlier in the week. She took the whole week off, and I decided to take the trip out for the weekend and surprise her. So it was a pretty good surprise. Had her in tears. Went out and celebrated a little bit, and we'll continue the celebration the rest of the weekend. They actually got. I'm up north about 200 miles or so from the Twin Cities in Minnesota, outside of Alexandria, and they have a lot of cool stuff actually going on in the little town here. So street dance, beanbag tournament, all sorts of cool stuff. So we'll continue the celebration on today. Just happy to be up here, but happy to make the show still. So.
Nice. Well, happy birthday to your sister, and also happy belated birthday to Val and Brad, who both had birthdays yesterday, co-hosts of the show. Happy birthday, guys. Happy belated. What's up, Chris? DH. Love the screen name. What's up, Rex? Nice. On the big screen. Awesome. Hope everything's going well. What's up? What's up, Jeremy? Hope everybody's having a good day today. So guys, we'll dive right into it. Yesterday, obviously, some big news came down. It's been it seems every year around the National, there's always some news that comes out a couple weeks before. We had like the Charles Barkley signing a couple years ago. You know, everything. There's always announcements that happen around the National, but we had a pretty big one yesterday with PSA, obviously, and Joe Orlando is out at PSA. Out of his position, done with the company. Nat Turner, as assumed from the start. I mean, I think everyone kind of thought the writing was on the wall for this, just didn't exactly know when. But Nat taking over that position, and Joe Orlando, who's been with PSA since like 1999 or something like that. Mm-hmm. He's gone, and a heartfelt letter that went out. But Logan, you are very big with PSA, and I know you know Joe very well. So, I mean, we'll start off, I guess, with you. But what were your thoughts when you saw that he was done at PSA? Because that's really an end of an era there.
It is the end of an era. We have a Hobby Hotline group chat, and John chatted that out yesterday about it was a little after 10 o'clock in the morning. And at first I thought it was a joke. And I couldn't believe it, because Joe is a huge hobby supporter. He's a collector himself. He collects Johnny Bench memorabilia, since he was a catcher when he played ball in college. And I couldn't believe it. I was very, very, very sad. In fact, I texted Cassetta at the PSA set registry, mm-hmm. and all she could do was send back crying emojis. So yeah, it was very sad. It was hard for me to believe. It was hard for me to believe that he was gone from PSA, because he absolutely loves PSA. He lives PSA, and like I said, he's been there, since 1999. So it's been like 22 years, and it was a tough pill for me to swallow. It's like, man, am I ever going to see Joe again?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. What were your thoughts, man, when you saw Joe Orlando? I mean, was this something you expected as well?
You going to me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think anytime there's new ownership, a buy-in from a company, there's always that possibility or that feeling of people in certain positions possibly getting let go or leaving, right, due to which direction this new ownership, the new people want to take within any company. I mean, I guess I didn't know personally, didn't know Joe like Logan and them did, but man, like it sounds like from even us talking pre-show, like you kind of brought up all the grief he got and getting beat up all the time. And it wasn't really anything that was his control, right? His name was just, he was the owner of that company. His name was under the company. And, you know, it's tough. It's sad. And it shows you once something like this happens to anybody in any place or company, how much of an impact or how much it affects others.
Yeah. Even
though there's all this bad publicity, you know, whatnot being shattered on his name as he's running this company, even though he's not really the one, you know, he's just basically voicing out or being the messenger. So, yeah. I mean, I think it's tough, you know, but as anything, you know, we got to continue to move forward and move on. And it sounds like he's still, from what you guys have been saying, still going to be, you know, a big part within the hobby itself, right? I think he still plans to go to the national. I think he brought that up. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it was, you know, as soon as it happened, I said, I know myself, John Newman, a lot of people that have shows, you know, said that this was probably going to happen, but after it didn't happen, like, you know, within a couple months, I kind of thought, you know, something that maybe he got something where he was going to be able to stay there for a couple of years and do something. And maybe he would transition to a different role before he eventually left. Maybe they would move him from CEO to something else. I didn't see him just abruptly leaving the company completely, but I'm excited to see where it goes with Nat and everything. I think Nat has done a phenomenal job since they've started the company. I like everything that they're doing from a logistical standpoint. I think they're moving forward in the right direction. But, you know, this definitely was a big thing. And the cool thing I thought, Logan, and Deafness, is, you know, you got a text from Joe himself, didn't you? Like, he reached out to people. This wasn't just like a bye everybody, peace out. Like, he's committed and he's in the hobby. He is a hobbyist. He's a collector. But I mean, he reached out to you personally, Logan.
Yeah, this morning, I mean, literally right before the show, I did get a text from Joe. He told me that yesterday was brutal for him. It was harder than he ever imagined it could be. And he said he was hoping to see me in Chicago. So I guess he will be there in some shape or form. So I'll be reaching out to him once we get there. So that's good. And it sounds to me like he's going to stay in the hobby. And like I said, he's a collector, you know, and he's also done a lot of books, you know, over the years. He's done, you know, like the 200 sports cards of the hobby, and like that T206 book. And he did a book, that legendary lumber book for, you know, bats and things. So, you know, he's an author. He's well-versed in the hobby. He's an expert. I don't see him going anywhere. He's just going to have a different role in the hobby now, other than being the CEO of PSA.
Yeah, and I think Kevin Jones has a really, you know, good view here, is that walking away prior to the national. I mean, that does make him, if he still chooses to go to Orlando, let's face it, there's nobody that any company's not going to want to talk to more than Joe Orlando first. So doing this before the national definitely sets up, you know, the possibility of consultant work, you know, anything that he wants to do. But we've actually got some callers, live from the Dallas Card Show. We've got two very special guests, Mr. Rich Klein and Brad.
Good morning, guys.
What's going on, guys?
Happy birthday, Brad.
Yes, happy belated.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you. We're live here at the Dallas Card Show. We're having a blast. It's just opened up, so we're hanging out. We're having fun.
We're in a side room of the main show.
Oh, okay.
And so if you come into the show, it's as you're approaching the main floor, it's the second door on your left.
Nice. How's the turnout looking for this show, at least as the doors open?
It's decent today. The show has been down a little from the previous shows.
I would expect that
with
the
national.
Everything gearing up. I could easily see it. People being much more localized. So we were just talking about Joe Orlando and PSA. Him, you know, exiting the company, and Rich. You know, Rich and Brad, both of you. Now that you guys are on the line, what were your thoughts when you saw, you know, that he was walking away?
Well, I was surprised just because of the sheer speed of it. Usually, and as we pointed out in our internal hobby hotline chat, usually the executives get a 2-year window from when a change like that takes place in ownership. The fact that move was made so quickly surprised me. I don't know enough about any of the dynamics, so I can't comment anything more, as I was just surprised by the speed thereof.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that it happened. We were talking about it yesterday. I was at first shocked it happened before the National, but then Rich reminded me, do you really want, for lack of a better phrase, dead man walking? Do you really want? So, you just, you handle business and you go on. And it's better to rip the Band-Aid off now than to slowly peel it. So I understand it. You pay a bunch of money, you make them, you want to be able to call the shots.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we're all in agreement there.
Cool. Hey, well, real quick, what cards are you guys looking for? Anything specific out there in Dallas?
Honestly, I'm just selling and I mean, we're getting it's interesting what we've had at the show, a preponderance of people asking. I've probably had more people ask for Kansas City Chief and Kansas City Royals material than I have had for anything Dallas related.
Wow.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. And Cardinals to a lesser extent. The Cardinals for a long time were always your second most popular franchise here, because for a long time, and Logan is young enough to remember this, St. Louis for a long time was your western and southernmost location. And so their regional radio network and TV network went all the way down to Texas. So there's a lot of second and third generation at this point Cardinals fans down here. So you'd be amazed by how national of a team the Cardinals are.
Yeah, here in Memphis, the Cardinals for a long, long time were the team for Memphis.
Right.
Yeah. And on the floor, there's a lot of people trying to buy Luka. There's not a lot of people trying to that are selling it cheap.
Right.
There's a lot of people trying to buy Luka cheap, and it's not cheap on the floor.
Well,
so
what's cheap?
You are in Dallas, though.
Right.
And I don't know about the rest of the country, but Luka is in Dallas.
Yeah.
So, there could still be a regional preference. So I don't know the national market. I've owned one Luka card in my life, so I'm not qualified to talk about it. But on a granular level, I'm not surprised that in Dallas nobody really wants to give away their biggest the cards of their home team star.
Yeah, I could easily see him being a little higher priced there than before. How has it been in terms of buying and selling? Has it been a pretty good showing, or
Honestly, it's been my weakest show here since August of 2019.
Wow.
Some of it is, and we said some of it there is, as pointed out, the National is in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And the Atlanta show has definitely also taken away some of the customers that may have flown in otherwise from places like Florida or even Atlanta, because it's easier to get to there, and also some of the dealers are there. So there's a little less thing, but there's been energy for different reasons. There have been a couple of corporate sponsors who wanted to use this show as their ground floor. So in terms of interesting events, we've had a bunch of interesting events at this show. So, and I want to point out something too, and this is something I've said. When Kyle scheduled this in July, there was no guarantee of a national.
Right.
So even if it didn't work out, it's a correct business decision.
Yes. Well, we were talking when we didn't know if the national was going to happen. Remember, we were all talking about if it doesn't, that was going to be the show that everyone would be at.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why I don't fault anything that happened at the show, because those circumstances were beyond his control.
Sure.
On a business level, and I try to look you always want to look at stuff at a personal level, but I always try to look at stuff at a business level too.
Yeah.
It's something I learned from Dr. Jim. To always look at something on a business level. And on a business level, the decision makes sense. If it didn't work out, Kyle promotes every show pretty intensely.
Right.
So he's very innovative. He's very aggressive. He posts in places I've never seen before. So he does a really good job getting the word out.
Yeah. I want to say hi, Dan. And then, Kevin, there's a lot more vintage than at the previous two shows. I don't know about interest, but there's a lot more on the floor vintage. And I think we were talking about it again this yesterday. It's so tough to get stuff back from PSA right now or anybody that people are kind of showing different stuff. So there's a little bit more vintage. There's a lot of slabs. There's a lot of that stuff out there, but yeah, there's a little bit more vintage. It's kind of nice. I enjoy it. I like looking at the older stuff.
The other thing, and I think the last show was just when it happened, so there was no real effect. We're now seeing some of the effect of, frankly, just the Target not putting out cards for sale. We may see an uptick with some of the more popular Panini products when they go back retail.
Yeah.
But I saw Series 2 Topps blasters on the floor for $20. Topps flagship Series 2. Well, that's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's what they're supposed to be. It's nice to see cards on the floor at the price they're supposed to be, give or take. I mean, if the guy put it at 25, I would have said that's perfectly fine too.
Right.
And then he might, if he knows you might take 20. So let's say he put him at 25 and would take 20. It's nice to see stuff on the floor as it should be. But the thing that's doing in a weird way is taking away the profit from the people who were making easy money before. And I'm okay with that because not everything should be easy profit.
Yeah.
Some of it you should work for, and some of it is the market revolves and evolves and changes. We're going to see an evolution. But one thing we've talked about is there's some people coming up with new innovative ways. I'm a dinosaur. I sell cards the way I sell cards.
Right.
There was a couple at the show, and Brad saw them, and it's the gentleman's wearing a shirt. I may be an SGC 40, but my wife or my significant other is a PSA 10. Her shirt says PSA 10.
It was pretty cool. I got the number because I wanted to, why not? Because the wife would be down with that. That'd be funny. But it was cool. And then you've got some other ingenuities and different things that are coming up people are just finding different ways to make the hobby different or the industry different, whatever you want to call it. And it's nice. It's very nice. And to answer your question, Michael, no, there's not a lot. I've seen one camera. Camera.
Wow.
I saw one camera also. It may or may not be. Brad wasn't at my booth at the time, so it may or may not be the same camera person I saw. So there might be two.
Okay.
But that's not. And the other thing was, there was a young man. He's very smart, walking around with an interesting thing that he's trying to figure out how to do it, where it's a sense of prepackaged. Instead of having to cut cardboard to protect your cards as you put it in, a pre-cut cardboard thing, so you can slip your cards in as you're selling them. Right. As you're shipping them via, whether you ship them on bubble mailer or ship them in the PSA cheap envelope, that you don't have to then struggle about how you cut cardboard or anything. It's already done for you. Again, somebody doing something innovative to promote a business.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that type of stuff going around this show. So that's been really cool.
Yeah, Chris, it does feel like more of a traditional pre-2020 show. It feels more like while it's big, it's more spread out, which is nice. I mean, I don't like the congested. For me, I'm a littler guy, so I don't like that bunched up. just a little bit of room to move around and have a conversation and all that other fun stuff. So
it's not like the last show where you just couldn't even hardly get around the aisles at all.
Right. Exactly.
It is getting more crowded. We can see from the side room, the main floor. It's definitely picked up a bit now, but it's not as insane as it was even in May.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you all came down.
Yeah.
So when it gets a little bit more longer in the tooth, I'll go out there and I'll go live and I'll share some photos and some stuff. So
it's okay.
Yeah, you need to find some guys with cameras and photobomb them.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, yeah, I thought it would be nice to at least kind of share the experience and share how everything's going. So
no, thank you guys for calling in. We were actually talking before the show and saying we were hoping someone would call in from one of the shows this weekend. So perfect.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Well, good luck at the show, guys.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
If you're in this area, stop by.
Yes, stop by. Where is it again, Rich? Let everybody know.
It is the Waters Creek Convention Center. I believe it's 777 Waters Creek Boulevard, Allen, Texas. It is the northeast corner of it's the northwest corner basically of Central 75 and Bethany in Allen, Texas.
Awesome. Well, good luck, guys. And Rich, see you soon.
See you, Brad. Uncle Rich.
See you, Brad.
Be good, Jeff. Be good, Logan. Be good, Drew.
Will do. And thanks again to Rich and Brad. Good luck today at the show. If anyone is out there, make sure to stop by Rich's booth. He's always got some awesome stuff. But yeah, I mean, I had actually even forgotten about that show, but that really was, for a long time, that's what at least I was planning on being the national, because I really didn't think it was going to happen.
Well, they were talking about, that and the Wisconsin shows, like they were doing up here. Like, we kind of had that conversation a couple months back, thinking that, if they don't do the nationals don't happen, kind of these being those primary spread out mini nationals, if you will. So, yeah.
Well, you got the Delta variant going around of COVID, and I will say this: I'm just slightly concerned that this could affect the national. I hope it doesn't, but I know that cases are up here in our area. Like they just announced actually right when we went live, or a little before we went live at the Olympics, they had their first case at the Olympics. So, I mean, you've got that going on now that could possibly have an effect.
It just had All-Star break right after All-Star, the Yankees. And...
it's definitely a little concerning. I mean, what we're going to see at the National this year is going to be insane. Like, if anyone went to Chicago 2 years ago, it's going to be, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know. I mean, 2 years ago, they had like a Halo convention there as well at the same time. Yeah. I really hope they don't have two conventions at once, because this one's probably going to be 4 times the size of what it was 2 years ago, and bigger than the Halo one.
Yeah, it's going to be like you said, at least four times the crowd. Yeah, that we've seen at any previous national. So that means the aisles are already pretty jam packed, especially on usually like Thursdays and Fridays are busier than Saturdays. It seems like there. So it's gonna be jam packed. So now it's really going to be like a can of sardines. So, I wasn't planning on wearing a mask, but I think I may put a mask back on for this. I don't know yet. I hadn't decided.
I mean, I'm definitely packing one. And Zig, from Sports Cards Daily makes a great point right here, where if, we still have a little while before the National. It's not like it's coming out next weekend. If Chicago, or if technically not Chicago, it's the Rosemont area. If the Rosemont area were to change the rules or anything on attending, or if, anything like that were to happen, it could, severely affect all of that. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. But as you said, uptick in certain areas. I think it's something you've always got to think about, and you've always got to be concerned with when you're planning on doing something like this.
Yeah, and the other thing is this is affecting people who haven't, mostly people who haven't been vaccinated. And I know in the state of Tennessee, we've got maybe 37% of the people have been vaccinated. Right. That's terrible. So of course, the Delta variant rates are going to be up. Yeah. And I don't know what it's like in Illinois. I don't know what the percentage is of people that have been vaccinated.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
No clue.
Yeah, as Cardman Dan says, they are having a tattoo fest at the same center this weekend. So good, that's good. They haven't changed rules and everything. But my concern just really is just the actual, just sheer amount of people that are there with the booths. Right. I mean, I'm going to be interested to see how it's set up. With the main stage that Hobby Hotline will be doing on Sunday, guys. We'll be doing it on Sunday. Hobby Hotline will be live on the main stage at the National. But we do, it's going to be interesting to see how they set that up, how they set the autographs up, because I mean, those lines can get incredibly long. The whole layout's going to be very interesting because you can't use the same layout you used 2 years ago. I mean, it won't work.
Has anybody heard what the table spacing is going to be like? Are they going to space the tables out further than they have in the past? Or I don't know.
I'm there with a couple of different groups that have tables set up, and their tables haven't been moved or anything. The layout plan seems to be a little different. I believe they're moving corporate into, almost individual rooms or like pods. So the corporate stuff, I believe, is being moved around a little bit, but I'm not really sure how the layout's going to be. But if you just can't use the same one you used 2 years ago, there's no way it's going to work. And so it's going to be interesting to see because it's going to be jam-packed. I mean, what you're going to see in a couple of weeks is going to be legendary in this hobby. I mean, I think it's going to be something that's going to be talked about forever when you're talking about card shows.
Right.
And I mean, beyond that, we were talking before the show, but you've got TriStar. When we talk about the autograph guests, TriStar has the Oklahoma Sooner quarterback and a Heisman Trophy finalist, Spencer Rattler. He's one of their signings at the TriStar event, making it one of the very first major public signings of a player since the new NIL laws just came into place, which I think is incredibly interesting. And that's one of the only autograph tickets I'll probably end up grabbing, but just for the significance of it historically. But you're starting to see the NIL rules come into place right at the National this year. I think that's going to drum up a lot of outside media attention, which, is great for the hobby.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that we're not going to see more of that here at the National.
Me too.
Yeah, only one seems, but hey.
Well, the law just went into effect July 3rd, and I think a lot of people were confused on how they were going to implement it. I mean, the NCAA still has no clue. States have no clue. They're giving some states, that don't have rules in place, relief and time to put laws into place. But This is going to be one of the very first under this new NIL where, he's getting paid to sign money and he's an undergrad. So, I mean, I don't know if you can get the inscription, but I'm going to ask at least for first NIL if it's possible.
That's a great idea. I like that. Yeah. I may follow your lead on that.
You should send him a message. Hey, you should be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I think I really do think, we're entering some interesting times next year. I think at next year's National, I think you're going to see a ton of them. I think that's where you're going to see a lot because, I think they're still going to lean heavily on retired and legends because you need to. But I think you're going to be seeing a lot of these guys like we were talking the other day. Could you imagine if 2 years ago, Trevor Lawrence, like if these laws were in effect 2 years ago, I mean, that's what we're looking at. I mean, now he's not compared to Trevor Lawrence, but I'm saying like the Heisman guy, one of the top.
But that's where it's going to get to. Like it's going to get to that point. Like there's going to be the next Trevor Lawrence. There's going to be those next Justin Fields. There's going to be those guys.
And now you're going to be able to get them, in college. It's going to be interesting. But 2 years ago, it probably would have been Trevor Lawrence instead of Spencer Rattler. So just interesting that I thought that was when I was looking down at the autograph list, I was like, that's an interesting one. I was like, that's one that I want to grab just because of the significance of it. I mean, the landscape's about to change heavily when it comes to that stuff. And I mean, it has a major effect on the hobby itself.
It does. And I'm glad to see Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair there. That's gonna be cool.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, seeing Ric Flair there is going to be absolutely awesome. Ric Flair is the man. I live right outside of Charlotte, so you can't not love Ric Flair here. So
Right.
Definitely ready for that. All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll move on from PSA and the National a little bit. Guys, please call in and join the show if there's any questions, comments about Joe Orlando or the National, anything like that.
Logan, hey, did you guys see that question up
No.
a little bit for Logan about the Chronicles racing?
Oh, okay, here we go.
Gordon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go. So,
Yeah, I just
do you have
saw
any
that.
info on that? That's that's pretty big for NASCAR getting Jeff Gordon back, period.
It is. It's very big to have him back. I don't think his autographs are going to be very limited. I was looking at the checklist. He's got several one-on-one autographs and some other numbered autographs, but he's also got some that are not limited. So I think everybody stands a good chance of getting a Jeff Gordon autograph. In fact, our buddies over at Go GTS Live the other night, Thursday night, broke a box of Chronicles and got a Jeff Gordon autograph.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
that was awesome. I'm hoping to get one. I actually bought 5 boxes yesterday from Panini Direct, and so I'm hoping to get one myself. In fact, the Chronicles sold out within like just a few minutes yesterday on Panini's website. I mean, it was incredible. There was I know Val, he tried to get in and get some, he couldn't, and I know some other guys. Ken at Beans Ball Cards, I don't think he got in and got any. So it was tough sledding. I don't know how I was so lucky to get in, but I was fortunate enough to get some. So to answer that question, yeah, I think we'll see plenty of Jeff Gordon autographs. The autographs are on stickers for Chronicles. So like I said, I expect to see quite a few Jeff Gordon autographs, and I'm hoping to get one.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be if they've signed him to a contract and he's coming back and they're promoting it heavily and putting him in more than one release, then I think he's probably signed plenty. But that's all. I think it's awesome to have him back. It does a lot for NASCAR, which is really, really gaining steam in the card market. I mean, it's getting big. It is. Haley Deegan popularity helping a little bit, but I mean, just other guys as well. And then now Jeff Gordon coming back.
Yep. And hopefully one day they'll be able to get Dale Earnhardt in there. That would be even better.
Oh yeah. Be awesome.
Yeah. No, that would be pretty cool. Definitely. So yeah. So probably not too limited, but I mean, I don't think I'd expect to pull one every couple boxes, but but I think they're probably pretty abounding Chronicles. I haven't opened any I haven't seen any Chronicles NASCAR yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. But speaking of Chronicles being a Panini release, Panini was in the news this week, guys. Topps announced earlier, moving with Mudrick Capital, Mud's going public. Now you've got the news that A-Rod himself and his group are looking at Panini. So nobody really knows if this is just them asking or if this is something that's serious talks. It's just something that was kind of leaked. But what do you guys think about this? And I mean, this could be towards Panini going public. I mean, this is very interesting if it's more than just, hey, what's the price?
Well, I think it's Topps goes, now they want to follow suit. So I think more than likely we will see it. I think it's kind of interesting that A-Rod is a name that comes up as his name tends to be floating around a lot within the sports world, which for good measure, but them wanting to buy my wolves or our wolves here in Minnesota and getting involved in that, and now wanting to get involved with Panini, I think is, I don't have any issues with it. I don't have any problems with it. Again, if they go public, I think I personally, it's great for the hobby, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't see any trouble with it at all. His group is called Slam, I believe.
Yep.
And and you have to think that they're looking to buy or purchase the parent company of Panini America, which is Panini in Italy.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's not just Panini here; it's Panini worldwide.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. Like I said, I think it'd be great for the hobby. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever.
No, I don't have any issues with it at all. I was I kind of thought it was coming sooner than later. When you see all these, there's a lot of athletes, there's a lot of entertainment people that are in these investment groups that have paired up with some very smart people. It's not just a bunch of, they're paired with a very good little group of people
smart,
around
true
them.
Businessmen.
Yes. And you also see, like we're seeing in the comments from Ziggy, from Chris Harris, I think that you are seeing, a lot of people at Topps and Panini probably seeing what this is and wanting to cash out, possibly wanting to move on to something else in the hobby. But it does bring on the fact, that going public and everything, it goes to shareholding. It does have some. It's going to change the hobby some, but it's going to change what you see from these companies, and it's going to change, how they react quite a bit. Let's see. Ziggy Nose says he's not happy with the future with shareholders on Wall Street running the hobby. So, Logan, what do you think about that? With going public and everything, that really is, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I really don't know what to think about that. You've got, like I said, you've got shareholders, people who are looking at it from a business aspect rather than a hobby aspect, like we look at it through.
Sure.
So they're going to expect these companies to make lots of money, and whereas what we're thinking about is, hey, what kind of cool products are they going to do now, and what kind of technology are they going to implement?
Yeah. Well, Chris Harris had asked if A-Rod buys Panini, do they have a shot of a license? And that's an interesting question, and it does. A couple of years ago on the show on Let Me Get That Potograph, I had the MLB Players Association director on my show, and I was talking to him about licenses, and they love the exclusives. Major League Baseball and the professional organizations love the exclusive. That's what they want. But when you start getting, that's when you're talking with people that don't have any history in the hobby. Does A-Rod have a little bit more pull with Major League Baseball? Maybe, it does open up the door. Someone like that could start to change people's minds, whereas the people that are in place right now, might not have that same pull within, the organizations, because at least Major League Baseball, when speaking with them, they are so for the exclusives, it's not even funny. They love it.
Yeah. Question though, isn't Topps exclusive? Aren't they attached or with that license? What's the year on it? Aren't they?
It's pretty long. We're talking long down the road. Panini wouldn't be getting a license for a very long time.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be. I believe it's 5 or 7 years at least. They have. And like I said, Major League Baseball loves the exclusive. And so I don't see it ever happening. I think exclusives are something that you might see change hands down the road, but just swapping one to the other. I don't think you're ever going to see it open back up like it was before.
I want to go back real quick to with the whole shareholders and looking at it more as a business. I personally am in it more just hobby driven. I don't honestly send in a lot of stuff to get graded to do a lot of that. I respect and I appreciate those who collect and do however they do in the hobby. I think it's awesome. And I think as we continue to move forward in this hobby, business investment / business is becoming a bigger percentage of it than more just a hobby. So I think on the same scale as it going to like shareholders and being looked at as more of a business, I mean, I think that's just kind of where the hobby has been continuing to go. I think that's the road it's taken. That's the path we're going on. And I think it's like, I think even John said it before, we just need to continue to adapt to where the hobby goes and continue to be in the hobby, whichever direction or whichever way or how you want to collect. Just continue to do that, and maybe that involves you not being able to go to the retail stores on any Saturday or Wednesday or whatever and grab a blaster whenever you'd like because they're not there anymore. Right. Maybe it's you not sending cards in to get graded and flipping or selling them to make money. I mean, the one thing I don't like is when people call people flippers. If you sell anything, like whether no matter what, I would say that's you're selling product. You're flipping cards, right? I mean, so at the end of the day, I think business, not business, hobby, shareholders, what have you. We got to continue to just go with the flow. I mean, how much of this can we really control? How many people are really going to side on one side versus the other? You can say, well, if enough people do this or do that, okay, well, can we get that amount of people whatever side you're on to really make that change? Probably not. So just adapt with it. Just roll with it. Enjoy it.
Change is inevitable. We're seeing this becoming, like I said, more of an investment. There's an investment side to this, and that percentage is growing. Whether some of us like it or not. I'm an old school collector. I've been collecting for 50 years, believe it or not. I never stopped in college or anything like that. So to me, it's still a hobby. But there's a lot of people, people buying, these high end cards, the Babe Ruth rookies, the Mantle rookies, and all that. That for a lot of those people, sure, I'm sure they're collectors, but a lot of that is more of just they're investing. Yeah, they're speculating that card is going to go up in value and that they're going to get a good return on their money. So, like I said, whether we like it or not, that's the trend that's happening. And I know some people feel like they're getting priced out of the hobby. But there's always something for everyone in the hobby to collect.
That pricing out come down quite a bit. Right. Yes, exactly. And that price has come down quite a bit, let's face it, in the last couple of months. Right. Back down to some sort of semblance of reality as a lot of people that were in this quickly, jumped in and bounced.
I mean, I think it's actually awesome. Like we're seeing 16, 18-year-old kids at some of these shows doing $100,000, maybe like $200,000 like trade deals, cash deals on cards. I respect that. I can appreciate that hustle. I'm not that guy, but I can appreciate it. I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's exciting. Like, keep doing it, man. Do your thing, man. Like,
I heard a kid at the Dallas show when we were there. He was talking to another guy. I just overheard the conversation. He said, he goes, in this last year, I've made like $300,000 like flipping cards. I'm thinking to myself, man, and he's just a kid.
No, when I talked about it on one of the shows the other day. When I was at the Philly show, I met a father-son duo that started their own business, and the kid was I think he was 9 or 10 years old, and he's been doing it for about a year now. The kid pretty much, his dad said his kid pretty much runs the entire business. Like, he makes all the decisions on all the cards, on everything. Dad's there to help run the business and obviously show the kid how to do all this and put, an adult's name with it. But a 9-year-old kid starting a hobby business, making that hustle out there, going to card shows, flying across the country to go to a card show in Philly, stuff like that is awesome. And I think a lot of people that are going to go to their first national this year are going to a lot of people that maybe say, "Oh, there's no kids in the hobby," blah blah blah. That go to the national to change your mind. You're going to see it. I mean, the amount of kids in the hobby is huge right now. And, you've got a lot of pioneers like Brody and some others now that are coming out that have a huge influence on that. And, it's an awesome thing to see for sure.
Well, I know for sure, if I was, in my teens or early 20s, I would be doing exactly what these kids are doing now. And it's like what Jeff said, I can appreciate the hustle and how they're getting out there and they're promoting themselves, promoting the hobby and making these big, huge deals. I can respect that.
Yeah. Ziggy, I do not believe so. No, it was not Wounded Warrior related. This was, I do know the ones you're talking about, but no, this was another one. So see here, apparently, there's so many father-son, groups, kids that are wanting to do this. I mean, shoot, back when I was a kid, back when I was collecting, this is absolutely what I would have wanted to do.
I mean, how cool, right? That connection to a father's son, like you say, like how much would we have enjoyed that, like being that 9-year-old, having our father be that involved and letting you or us make most of those decisions and run a pretty much a business. I mean, how cool, man.
You're learning more than you're going to be learning in school about it. I'll guarantee you that much.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, looking forward to it. So Panini and A-Rod, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so guys, are you guys going to the National? I forgot to ask Logan. I'm assuming you're headed. Who all is going to be there? I know we've got a lot of stuff going on at the National this year.
Still up in the air. I might, if I am, I won't be out there like during the week. I would probably show up sometime either Friday evening, drive Friday morning, or leave Friday evening and be there Saturday and Sunday. But it's up in the air still. It's gonna be a last minute decision this year, unfortunately. So
my son Tyler and I, we're gonna leave here. We're gonna drive. We're probably gonna leave about between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're gonna get up there and we're gonna pick up Val at the airport. His plane comes in, I think, around 6 or so. So he'll be staying with us. So it'll be me, my son, and Val. Nice. Together in the hotel, and we can't wait. We've got dealer passes, so we're going to be in there on Tuesday. When they're setting up, so we'll have Tuesday through Sunday. So it's going to be a grind, but it's going to be so much freaking fun. I just cannot wait.
Oh, the National's absolutely incredible.
That's why I was like. 2 weeks ago, I was like, I'm just not going to make it this year. I'm not going to be able to make it in. And now I'm just trying to do everything I can. That's why I'm not saying no yet. It might be just short, but really going to try to get out there. So
good.
How long of a drive would that be for you, Jeff?
About 7 hours. That's what we did last.
It's like 8 hours for us.
Yeah.
Rex, that's awesome. Rex, I mean, this is a really cool story. His son Max and Owen are the reason that his shop exists. He started collecting. His brother jumped in, and then he used his retail experience, and now they own a shop. See, I mean, stuff like that is awesome. That's cool. That's cool. Where I like seeing this hobby. And one thing I think we're going to see a lot at the National this year is a lot of new companies and a lot of innovative different things. Rich touched on. I actually know what he's talking about. I saw a guy in the Facebook room posting about these, the card sleeves, to the easy shipping method stuff. At the National this year, I think we're going to see a massive influx of stuff like that. Every year you see it. Last year you saw the PSA protectors. You saw the the necklace lanyards for the slabs. I mean, there's always all these different things that you see at the National that are so unique and so different. I think that's going to be amplified to times 100 this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, let's see here who we got in the comments. Kevin Jones been picking up the 2020 Summer Camp Waves. Love the mask cards.
Anybody else want to call in or anything?
Yes.
Questions?
Anybody want to call in before we wrap up today's show? I'm headed to a Hickory Crawdads game this evening with my son. Looking forward to that. He's at soccer camp now. and then some baseball later tonight. What'd you guys think of the All-Star game, home run derby with Ohtani and
so much fun, so awesome.
Yeah, what he's doing, and that's something that you got to look at with what Ohtani's doing right now. If he continues on the pace he's on, like his success could take the baseball hobby to areas that people have no clue. If the overseas market goes fully in on him, if they decide, yes, okay, we're going to jump in on this, we've got to get in on this, and he keeps up performing, it's going to do insane wonders for the baseball hobby.
I agree.
Ziggy No asks, No Franco an update and thoughts on Wander in 2022. I
already showed you what it's going to look like. Did you guys see what the tops?
Yes.
It looks awesome.
I love that. Let's start there because I love the design. Thank God for using a text that people that are 30 or older can actually read. Because for God's sakes, man, I ain't that old yet, but it's a struggle for me to read half the crap. And the back is even worse on a white background, diagonal and italicized and ridiculous. But the design looks beautiful. It looks like a throwback, but Wander not being an update is interesting. I assume they would save him for 2022. I thought that they probably would, but I thought they had there's going to be a couple of people in update, but it definitely waters down update to the point of, this baseball class really is every single rookie is doing the same thing. So maybe it's a curse and Wander needs to be in 2022 because every single rookie in this class seems to have a week or two that's great followed by a month of nothing. And so, maybe, but I love the design.
Under 200.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the design's awesome.
We've got a caller. Actually, we're going to add him in. Haven't seen him in a while, but an old school caller. What's up, bud?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Doing good, man.
Hey, man.
So what's going on?
Nothing much. I'm still collecting cards and very excited going to National in 2 weeks.
Nice. You are going to the National. That's great.
But
that's great.
To talk about Wander Franco being in 2022, I just feel like it was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Considering, in 2019, Yordan Alvarez and his situation. And they got a lot of people, up in arms about that. And I think we now understand how the MLBPA and the MLB and, the cutoff date works.
Right.
But I feel like if you want that to never happen again, just do what the NHL does. You can't have a card until you play.
Right. Yeah. They either got to change the rules. I understand what you're saying. Oh, and thanks for the call, man. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah. Glad you're still watching the show and collecting, brother. But that does bring up a good point. The only way you can really do anything about that is change that. But Ziggy brings up a great point there. If the Rays do win a ring, Rays are a good team this year. If they win a ring, Wander being in 2022, that would put some crazy demand on those, which you're going to see heavy demand on the Wander cards, period.
Yeah, regardless.
Series 1 next year is going to be absolutely absurd. I'm interested to see what happens with it, but him being an update, I kind of thought they were going to hold off on it because I think they already had everything mapped out. And I think they wanted to save because like who else is going to make in 2022 Series 1 the same chase that Wander Franco is. So I mean I think they knew update wasn't going to be too strong, but you got to make a decision which one's going to be stronger, update or next year's Series 1.
Speaking of those guys, I'm sure all you guys saw that. Did you guys see that triple that another big name out there that we're waiting on, that Jason Dominguez?
Yes.
The speedy hat and then his not so great sliding abilities. He's going to maybe end up hurting himself here if he doesn't figure out how to slide.
Yeah. No, that man, that he needs to learn to slide. That was rough.
That boy's fast, though. I did not think he could run that fast. Seeing that video was like eye-opening because, I mean, he is a big boy.
Yes.
He got around those bags in no time.
Yep.
Yes, he needs to learn how to slide. That is correct. That was insane.
No, absolutely. But I am glad Topps, with this design, they went back to just a straight up, full border. We don't have to have all the fancy zigzag lines and all the crazy angles and stuff put into it.
Right.
I like the simplicity of it. I hope they keep it that way. They've been known to change it a little bit. And please work on the Independence Day parallels and don't just put stars around the border. I was disappointed in this year's Independence Day parallels. So work on those because I think they're normally beautiful. But yeah, Jason Dominguez definitely does need to learn how to slide. Yeah, he was laughing when he landed. He knew. I mean, I'm pretty sure he knows he doesn't know how to slide. But if you're going to be that fast, you better be sliding.
How can you be that, like, the top prospect like that and not know how to slide? Like, just it's kind of mind blowing, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you think about Jason Dominguez? I mean, what are your thoughts on him? Do you think he's got, what you think? Do you think that hype's going to pick back up again pretty soon?
Yeah, I definitely believe so. And like I said, and that's why I kind of brought it up because I think there's a lot of people that once they saw that clip of him running those bases, just his speed alone and how big he is, how much power he has. I mean, yikes, it's scary. I mean, it really is. I think the hype is real, and I think the hype is going to be back. Definitely.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. All right, guys. Well, it is about time to wrap up the show. Before we do, I do want to once again wish Val and Brad a belated happy birthday. And also, guys, we want to welcome Sam Schufert from Women of the Hobby. She is going to be joining the Hobby Hotline family. And so she will be on one of the upcoming episodes here shortly. And you guys will be able to have her opinion as well. If you guys haven't checked out the Women of the Hobby podcast, it's awesome. But we do want to welcome Sam to the show. So welcome, Sam. Cannot wait to
Sam.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes, cannot wait to have you on the show. But yeah, so guys, Nationals coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. We will definitely be there doing a ton of stuff. We have a lot of us will be there. I know John from Sports Card Nation will be down there doing a lot of stuff. As Logan said, him and Val, myself, will all be up there. Rich Klein, everybody. So if you are going, please let us know. And Jeff, maybe we can convince Jeff. I'm gonna convince Jeff to go. So we'll get you there. I'm gonna get you there. But but definitely, guys, if you do join, then and come to the National, please stop by and say hey. Guys, that's gonna do it for today's episode. Thanks everybody so much for tuning in, and we will see you next Saturday.
These guys have an awesome day.
See y'all later.